What up, everyone? Out here in 29 Palms, California. Just giving you a little view of the scenery, but I'll come back this way so you can see my face. Um, what I want to talk about today is ego. I'm going to take a seat here. Ego, right? Confidence is good. You need confidence. You need to know that you can handle all the different situations in the world, or all the not all the situations in the world, but all the situations that are presented to you in your life. You need to have a confidence that you can deal with whatever's presented to you as a problem, and confidence that you can come up with a viable solution to handle those problems. Part of that comes from what I've been talking about and looking at each of your problems as an opportunity to learn something and to come up with a solution. But a lot of times we approach problems not with confidence but with ego. And that ego translates into paralysis, and not being able to handle the situation because you become blind to it. A lot of times our ego actually feed into this notion that we're so awesome, we're so amazing, that it's not us that's keeping us from moving forward. It's the world. It's the world holding us back. We are the tortured hero. We are the tortured genius, says this audiobook by Jacko Willink. And he has a co-author. I can't remember who the co-author was, so forgive me, but it's called Extreme Ownership. And he's going on as a guest on London Real TV, and I suggest you watch. But this idea that we're somehow a tortured hero or a tortured genius being held back by the world, and that the world just can't see our greatness. And that leads us into doing the same thing over and over and over again. It keeps us from actually changing our behavior, and it keeps us from finding viable solutions, because a key ingredient is missing in the formula for becoming a better person, and that is humility, right? In order to actually figure out how to become successful, there's got to be an aspect of you that's humble. There's got to be an aspect of you that seeks out, learns, and absorbs advice from people who have been places where you have not, who've solved problems that you have not. And instead, we wait, and we wait for the perfect time when the world is actually going to accept us and accept the fact that we're so great. Greatness is not a state of being, it's a process. Just like anything else, it's a journey, right? And if you want to be great, if you want to be somebody who's above the fold, who excels at what you do and who's a master of your craft, you have to constantly be seeking to get better. You have to constantly look at the landscape around you and adapt. That's why man has been able to inhabit the desert. That's why man has been able to do things like cross the Arctic and the Antarctic. That's why man has been able to travel oceans, because they understood that they can't control what the world throws at them. But they also understood that they have to adapt, and they have to learn, and they have to absorb information in order to survive in environments like that. If you go through life thinking that you're so great, that you're so beyond reproach, that you don't have to adapt, and that if life is giving you problems, it's because the world just doesn't understand you, then you're headed down a road to failure. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't exhibit confidence. That doesn't mean that you should just fold and everything. And that doesn't mean that you should accept every one of other people's opinions. What that does mean is that you need to seek out the opinions of people who have been there before, who you respect, and whose information you can listen to and understand. And that's the importance of doing things like reading, doing things like seeking out opportunities for self-improvement, and doing things like seeking out mentors. So The big thing for this week, controlling your ego. If I can control my shaking of my hand, controlling your ego, being humble, and seeking out opportunities to learn. I love you all. I'll be around 29 Palms this weekend. Well, at least all day today, and it's Sunday. So hopefully, if any of you see me, come up and say what's up. All right, peace.